Hey randomites, welcome to the show. For the last couple of weeks, I've been made fun of by Carly for talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all the time. So I thought to myself, how can I get all my Jiu-Jitsu talk out of my system? So it dawned on me that I could do a Jiu-Jitsu takeover show. So today's guest is a close personal friend of mine. He's one of the most humble, caring, and self-aware people that I know. He's one of the premier Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu professors in the Sacramento area. He's my personal jiu-jitsu professor, along with my kids' professor and mentor. The moment you have all been waiting for, the one and only Professor Gustavo Enriquez.
There we go.
Thanks for being on, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here, kind of like helping out the jiu-jitsu community in any way I can. It's the time to give back now.
Yeah, that's pretty much my main audience right now because that's all I talk about. So I wanted to talk to you about the school, your philosophy, your school's philosophy. I remember my first day. I remember seeing the picture of Gregorio Kano, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. Even their judo roots there.
Right.
Because I'm like, when you think about Maida and how he came over from Japan and to Brazil and like kind of he was like the first mixed martial artist. That's what I tell everybody, and they're like, yeah, really? I'm like, he kind of was. He was like fighting in circuses,
Right.
and he was using judo and what eventually became jiu-jitsu to kind of like bring jiu-jitsu to the world. So,
Right.
And the rest is history. Now it's one of the biggest combat sports on the planet.
Yeah, everybody wants to learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's not just regular jiu-jitsu. I see a lot of the people from Japan, where jiu-jitsu and judo came from, they're starting to implement more of the Brazilian style. And they had it all along. It's just that the Brazilians ended up cultivating it and making it work.
They kind of honed it, right? Because like in regular jiu-jitsu, it was really like finite moves. It was like A, B, C, D, and then the Brazilians were like, well, there's more than just A, B, C, and D, and they kind of like refined it and perfected it.
That is very true, but there's a huge argument to that.
Pull this up just a little bit.
It could be. Is that better?
Yeah.
It's not.
You can pull the arm in too.
Okay.
Can you tighten that part right there? That thing right there. Just dial.
Okay, move this microphone in better.
The boom is
there. And well, what I was saying is, it's not quite ABC. It is as you learn, but when you move, everybody's going to move differently. So you have to be able to go CDE or BDA, whatever, just to make it work.
The most humbling experience ever was my first jiu-jitsu class.
Right. Well, that's good to hear because that means I'm teaching them right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because wrestlers come in with like this sense of confidence, and they don't realize that it's one thing to be able to shoot in on someone. It's another thing to be really, really strong and be able to throw someone, and then it's another thing to just know where to be at whatever times. And that's the hardest part. I have guys who try to roll with me at work. Mm-hmm. And it's the funniest thing because I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, this may as well happen. And I'll go 15%. And they're and the things that I'm watching them do, I'm like, man, I remember doing those things. I remember making those mistakes. And it's just funny to watch.
Right. It's I can regress now with, I had a guy a long time ago. He was training for an MMA fight somewhere. I can't remember, maybe Fresno or wherever. And he came down from Reno, and there's this jiu-jitsu school, MMA school. And next thing you know, he's kind of like trying to get his fingernails and start scratching my chest. And it's like, what the heck is this? And he says, well, in our school, our instructor taught us how to pull out the heart. I go like, what the hell is this? It's gonna be a bad day for me.
Yeah.
And I looked over and I saw my instructor at the time, and he's just like, no, don't do that. Get him off you and stuff. So I had to go ahead and start just like submitting him stuff.
Was that Cassio school?
At Cassio's, yeah, way back.
Where did he train when you first started with him? I always wondered because I never knew where he was. I saw his signs on the back of people's trucks,
right?
and I'm like, oh, that's awesome because I knew who Cassio was. I followed the sport.
Well, when I first started, it was around December. Um, I'm not even sure of the year. Cassio just, I think he was like a purple belt or maybe a brown belt. He took off to Brazil, and that like a lot of Brazilians do, right around the Christmas, New Year's Eve. And he was gone for about a month or two, and then he came back. He got promoted. Um, he I'm not sure exactly where he trains down there. Maybe with his old instructor. He's had a few instructors,
Yeah,
and so when he came back up, I was introduced to him, and then we got along great, and we started training more and learning more. The guys, it was a very small school at the time, and we were like, um, there's just so much opposition to us. We're a small school. Nobody really knew who we were. We would go after uh, the big tournaments and trying to see how well our jiu-jitsu was, and we did pretty good. We quickly grew a reputation.
yeah,
So it was pretty good.
yeah. In Sacramento, Northern California, he was kind of the pioneer in this area.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was actually a blue belt from what I understand when he first came here,
Yeah,
and he was submitting the instructor, uh, which had a black belt.
yeah.
But he wasn't really a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So
Well, it was weird, right? Back in the late '90s and even like mid '90s, it was really weird to find a black belt instructor.
yeah, there's tales about if you found a purple belt, they referred to them as gods and stuff like that. Well, this
Yeah.
guy knows everything. He can watch out. He's like a ninja. He can do all kinds of things to you. Now purple belts are hand them out like cards.
Yeah, it's really weird. I remember because I followed the sport forever. I remember thinking like you're a white belt, you make a lot of stupid mistakes. You're a blue belt, you stop making stupid mistakes. You're a purple belt, you start learning where those stupid mistakes are. Brown belt, you start making people make stupid mistakes. Black belts, you make people make mistakes and they don't know they're making mistakes, and then you get like coral and red, and it's like you just submit people with like flying platypus chokes, like fake made up chokes that you make up. That's the way I feel like that about you.
Oh well, thank you. I was very very lucky to be able to compete against a coral belt in the Master Worlds one time. The guy's name, what is his name? Anyway, his nickname is the Pit Bull. I remember him having an entourage like six, maybe 11 black belts around him. And I was like, wow, this is amazing being able to have the honor to compete against somebody like this. And he was kind of like very very sure of his technique, and I was like, wow, this is a core belt I'm going up against. And so we started playing the game. I could feel his energy, and he was leading me to everything I was doing. It was exactly how it's supposed to be. Yet I was being led into the trap,
Yeah.
and I knew it, and I knew it. I just felt it, and so I followed the trap. And at the last minute, I was able to reverse it on him. And I remember him talking in Portuguese. It's like, how did this happen? The referee's like, I don't know. What do you mean? It just happens. You
It's a
got to
jiu-jitsu fight. Right? Yeah. No, you're. It's really weird because you have like this different type of a mind when it comes to jiu-jitsu that I love because I've seen other instructors. I've gone to different seminars, and I'm like, you just have. It's like you're putting a puzzle together in your head, and you're just the best at putting that puzzle together. Because I'm serious, and it's funny because I see all these like guys who are supposed to be these assassins of jujitsu guys, and I watch them and I'm like, yeah, they're really fancy, so that's why people look up to them because they're super fancy.
Right.
But you like have the master of the basics. It's like when I watch the difference between people who do these really fancy Berimbolo stuff, and then guys like Hicks and Gracie. Like you remind me of an old school Hicks and Gracie type of an instructor, where it's like when Hickson was just like, I'm going to put as much pressure on you. And Hickson's a big dude, but even his students like you're not an overly whelmingly big guy. But it's like when you're on top of me or when you're on top of anyone and you're going 40%, 30%, 10%,
Right.
you seem so heavy. There's so much pressure. And it's like, that's such an old school, like, my basics are perfect. And you're not going to get away from that.
It's interesting you say that because nowadays I see jujitsu. I've been doing jujitsu for about 22 years, and it's just like watching the UFC where every every now and then there's a wave of people like jujitsu is dominating, and then all of a sudden wrestling dominates, and then all of a sudden kickboxing dominates. Then it just falls back. It's just waves, one wave after another. You cannot be a good practitioner without knowing all of it. And in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's I don't understand. I just accept that there's an energy out there that I've noticed where I sense there's a wave coming, and I'm being told what to prepare for, like an intuition,
Yeah.
and I'm already aware of this, and I see hints out there. It's just like that's just like being in a movie where there's little signs out there, and you have to be aware. It's just like some kind of like um, scary movie, and it's like, oh, if you're not aware of these signs, uh, the boogeyman's going to get you, and the boogeyman is your opponent.
Yeah.
And then if you want your school to be good, you have to be aware of these signs. And so I'm already aware of these signs, and I see other people aware of these signs. It's just weird. This is just an energy. It's like the force. I don't know how else to describe it. Seriously. And I'm preparing for this new wave. And as soon as I get more well versed in this wave, I will transfer my knowledge in this wave and kind of like start teaching you guys to get prepared for the next step.
Yeah. I feel like John Danaher is like really pushing leg locks. Like I feel like that's his because like the Ryan Gordons of the world and stuff like that. They're all no gi guys. So like I feel like John's game is really evolving to leg locks.
Well,
And especially Ryan Hall's like BJ Penn ankle lock is like everybody's like, okay, we need to learn how to do this. If one of the most legendary Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, most legendary because of his MMA background, really, you know, going to Mundanol's like 3 years in, I think, wasn't it 3 years or something like that? So, and then seeing Ryan Hall really just Imanari roll, yeah, he
right.
just, yeah, he was leg kick into the Imanari roll.
Yeah, there's the M&I. I did an MMA fight a long time ago, and the guy clocked me. He was a good boxer, and the first thing I noticed was he was wearing wrestling shoes, and I said, "This guy's gonna get leg locked." It's like, and even way back when I was doing my karate, because I was doing karate for I don't know a long time, like 30, 34, 35 years, and I was pretty good at it. And I would be referred to as a cheater fighter because I would go to my back, and it was just something that I naturally did, and I could go ahead and fight from my back and do that. And there's stuff that kind of like for me was natural, like the Imanari stuff. I didn't go swim around the person like they do, which is pretty cool. Um, we've had a couple of guest instructors come in, kind of like teach us the Imanari stuff. Um, and most of the stuff is kind of like from the 10th Planet guys. They try to keep on top of things. Oh, if the thing about I love about jiu-jitsu is that they're everybody's always trying to get over on everybody, in which everybody's trying to get that edge to make their team the most dominant team when it comes to competition, and everybody's watching everybody. And there's with the advent of the internet, it's just like there are no secrets.
Yeah.
It's just you have to. There's just so much. I mean, you can tell from my expressions and my speech that my mind's just going 1,000 miles a second, which is one of my issues. We're talking about special ed and stuff, and growing up and going to school, and how for me it was just school was just too slow, and I had my mind right now is just 1,000 different subjects, but the M&I role is something that it confuses the person. What I don't understand is why is that person just watching this person just go underneath them? just like anything else. It's almost like a messed up berimbolo where
Yeah.
they don't have anything, but they're using their body to kind of like swing around and then loop that leg from inside to the outside to like an X guard, which gets them the not the X guard, but the 50-50 and take them down. And you got a beautiful heel hook, which is that's the one that I was doing. Go back to where my MMA fight is. See, I just go all over the place.
That's why you're so good at jiu-jitsu, though.
And well, thank you. And then I ended up catching the guy in the heel hook. I gave the guy an opportunity to tap, and he's just like, man. And once again, he's like, darn, I thought I had you. You came in with wrestling shoes. He's going to give me the great stop for the heel hook, and so that was a good one for me.
Yeah. The one thing because I knew we were talking about that, like the ADHD and stuff like that. I think that works really well with jiu-jitsu, though. I think that because you have to be so creative on the ground, and you have to kind of have that mind where you're thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, like a chess player. But it is different in the sense that it's like, I think that's why I made the joke. I'm like, man, it's like it's our sport for us degenerates, because we really highly intellectual people who maybe don't have like that mental fortitude to hone in on one thing and do just this one thing. You can do, you have to think about 10 different things. I think that helps. I feel like it helps because you have to be really intellectual to be really at the top of your game for jiu-jitsu. Like the best guys out there right now are some of the most intelligent people, period, dot, end of story. And Rickson's like one of my heroes in the sport. So I always kind of go back to him. He talked about how many fights he had, and like, Carlos and Helio kind of said, no, that wasn't true. Those were smart. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is the dude was such a monster.
Be careful. He's still a monster.
He's
still a monster.
Oh, he's still a monster.
If you're hearing this, man, you're still a monster.
You're
still the legend. You're still a living legend.
He is my hero in the sport. But it's funny because people don't realize this, but there was some weird family politics. I won't get into it because I wouldn't take sides anyway. But there was some family politics on the reason why Rickson didn't fight in the UFC at UFC 1.
Right.
They only wanted one Gracie to do it, and it was going to be there was a few different ones that they could have used, and they ended up obviously going with Royce. But even in Royce's interviews, he's like, "You guys are talking about how good I am." He's like, "I'm going to go home. My brother Rickson, he's going to tap me 100 times."
Right.
He would say that all the time because Rickson was just the guy. Rickson was that he was their monster. There's not another word for it. And I wish that I could have seen him fight in the UFC, or I wish I could have watched a fight of his live.
Right.
Because it's just, man, he's so good. And also I wish he would have fought Sakuraba, because he would have just shut him up. But they called Sakuraba the Gracie killer, right?
Right.
I'm like, not Rickson, buddy.
Yeah. Bali, Ishmael.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our high points and our low points. I mean, you can only reign for so long, and then you got people constantly watching you and learning from you. It's like Hoffa, and he's retired, and another one that I like watching besides Hoffa is I like watching Kyle Tea.
Yeah.
He's really interesting to watch. And I see Stream, the person who makes it just look effortless, and it's just like, this is just how it's supposed to be done. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's how I feel when I watch Hoffa. Hoffa Mendes is.
It didn't come overnight.
Yeah.
No, just like Keenan. I was watching Keenan earlier this morning, watching him do this role, and he's kind of like narrating his fight while he's grappling the guys. He's as I grapple, I'm telling you what I'm going to do, and it's kind of like telegraphing, and the person's got an opportunity to defend, and he's still going to do his thing. He's kind of giving the audience why is he doing it, what's he setting up,
yeah,
and he's still able to do it. That's talent, and I'm sure all these guys can do the same thing. To watch this, it's amazing. and I do that from time to time, trying to help out instruct the kids and the teens and the adults. I point out something. I'm going to go ahead and triangle you. I'm going to armbar you. I'm going to choke you. I'm going to sweep you this way. This way it gets you prepared. It makes it hard for me to do it and see how they react. And hopefully they do the right thing. It's kind of like a quick little test. In jiu-jitsu, you're always being tested.
Yeah.
Everything. Every day you come in. So for those of you guys that are saying, hey, when do I get my next promotion? It's just like, dude, you've been tested all the time. And the other thing is, you guys never ask about promotions. In jiu-jitsu, you never ask about promotions.
I hate that.
It will set you back. It'll set you back.
I saw this. It was funny. I'm on, like, all my feeds are all jiu-jitsu feeds. There was something that was, I don't remember whose feed it was, but it said if you didn't start because of the belt, don't quit because of the belt. Right? I'm like, man, who cares? Who cares what belt you are?
People will say that. They'll say this, and then they'll see their friends, and then it's. I understand. It's instinct. I mean, it's natural for the person to feel left out. It's like, man, my friends are beating me. What am I doing? How come I can't be there with them? And it's like, for us, like going back to the very beginning when Cassio was kind of like a purple belt, brown belt, early black belt, and we were basically a nothing on the map, and we would go up against these other schools, and we'd go in there just like beat them, and it's like, yeah, this is what it's all about. I mean, even at a white belt, when we used to compete, sometimes we would go up against upper belts and stuff, and we beat them. If we got beat, it's no big deal. We're a lower belt, at least we learn from it, and we beat them. It's like, well, wait a minute, we get noticed right away. It's like,
yeah,
who's this team? Who's this guy?
Well, Cassio's savage anyway, man. Before he was a black belt, he was beating black belts.
No, he's an amazing individual. I've seen him, and I will limit my speech by saying I saw him get robbed.
Yeah,
a couple of times, and it's just like, as a referee and myself, and I'm like, I try to be impartial about being my ref, and I just understand that there's sometimes politics involved in it or whatever. Maybe I don't know, but I've experienced it personally myself, and it's just like, wait a minute, this is wrong. I mean, but it is the world we live in, and we also say, don't leave it up to the referee. Make it a clean kill. Just take them out.
Yeah.
Make sure you wait.
I noticed you guys have been doing like those submission only tournaments recently.
Right.
Is that kind of one of the reasons why, or is it just because that's super popular now?
I only do those because there's a group of people, I won't mention names, where there's like, oh man, if I only had submission only and I would beat you. I was like, dude, there is submission in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You can submit, you can go to a tournament and submit everybody. And even at the Fight to Win, Seth puts on a great venue for that, and he, you got still time limits. You have like maybe 7-8 minutes or so, 10 minutes, and if you can't submit the person within that time, it's just like, okay, how close did you get? Are you trying, or are you playing the IBJJF rules of working the points?
Yeah.
Which is another thing, you guys, I like. I'm talking to you guys as a referee now. I like to be able to watch you guys submit the person. Don't let me decide the outcome. One of the things that I talk to the practitioners is that when they lost, and even though they dominated their opponents, like, you're constantly going for the submission, which is awesome. But in IBJF rules, stop and get your points. He goes, how could I lose? Look, I dominated that person. You're in jiu-jitsu, we live our lives 3 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe longer, because some of these referees take a lot longer. They're being distracted. Maybe they're counting is not so well, or whatever. Maybe they're trying to translate the counting. But I make it a point. I go 1, 2, 3, and award the points. I had a very good instructor, Alvaro Manso. He's been one of my heroes for a long time in IBJF. and he's taken me under his wing. He's taught me how to do some reffing. I'm not the best ref in the world, but I'm learning. And reffing is not easy. There's so much to learn besides what you read on the book.
Yeah.
You know, you can download the rules, and a lot of people think they know the rules, and they really don't. I don't know all the rules. We have arguments among referees about the rules. And I mean, I can go on and on and on. If we had a room full of referees right now, we would be arguing, screaming, you know, and nodding our heads, and hands are up. It's like, I don't understand. I give up, you know. That's just with the refs. And, you know, but we all try to help each other understand the rules. But you guys, the one big piece of advice is understand the rules, use the rules to your advantage. That's what the rules are for. Stop and get your points, and then go for the submission. If you got a clean submission, sure, and you get it, great. But if not, you should have got your points.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things too, is like that separates the really really elite, is they know how to get their points and then move in for the kill. Because at the highest level, man, there's not that many
advantage.
Yeah.
The match is really. I mean, I once saw a match for like an hour and 45 minutes, dude. I stopped and went out and got me a lunch. I went out. This is Santa Cruz, the U.S. Open. Claudio Franca, he has this amazing tournament thing that he does. If you get a chance, you should be part of it. It's amazing. And I took off and got me a burrito, and it took me maybe 35 minutes. I walked back to the arena, and the guys were still in the same position. It's like, oh my goodness. You know, hour and 45-minute fight. It's like unlimited. When somebody says no time limit, it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna be a part of this. I need somebody to push the pace.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because they're all looking. It's like it's a sport of like inches, right? I mean, it's so weird in the way that if you have an unlimited amount of time, then you can slowly move your way into the submission that you're trying to get to.
Quicksand.
Yeah.
The more you move, the faster the submission comes.
Yeah, and that's the reason why that's why I love the 10th Planet system. I mean, Eddie Bravo's system, and here's the thing, like, you know, and I'm pretty vocal about it even on my podcast. I'm a Christian dude. I'm a creationist, right? So it's funny when I talk so highly of Eddie Bravo. I have friends of mine who are like, yeah, but that guy like stands for everything that you don't stand for. And I said, you know what? When it comes to jiu-jitsu, I can put everything aside and say that dude is still a genius.
Well, let me talk a little bit about that religion factor. At the end, we'll all know.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's going to die.
Yep.
And at that moment, we'll find out. I mean, whether you believe in something, it's good to believe in something. If you don't believe, even the atheists believe that there's something. There's an energy, or you know, they want to. Like earlier, I was talking about. There's this energy out there that, for whatever reason, I sense a new wave of submissions or positions or attacks or whatever, and I'm not the only one. We're just in tune to it, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. I never got that from karate.
Yeah,
I never got that. The other thing about jiu-jitsu is I can go anywhere in the world, and if I wear a jiu-jitsu shirt, or maybe I have cauliflower ear or whatever, and people will walk up to me and say, "Hey, you train?" I go, yeah. Oh, come and just talk to me. What you here? You know, you come and train with us. You know, we'll take care of you. You sleep in my house. I'll feed you my food. And that's anywhere in the world. I never got that in karate.
Yeah, I think it's because jiu-jitsu is the birth of MMA. And everyone kind of knows it's ubiquitous with MMA. So they see somebody like you have an Infinite Jiu-Jitsu shirt on, or the cauliflower ear is a dead giveaway, right? This dude's either a wrestler or he's a jiu-jitsu practitioner. And I'm like, that is, when I see a guy with cauliflower ear, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mess with that dude, 100%. You see the guy with cauliflower ear, you're like, that guy, 100%, that guy's gonna.
Well, basically means that the person has gone through all the hardship, and he still continues. So he's got a lot of dedication, a lot of heart.
Yeah, I've always worn headgear.
Yeah, well,
I don't want it. I don't want that. I don't want the cauliflower ear.
That's fine. That's fine. You want to be What you referred to as an assassin earlier?
Not me. Carly. You know Carly wants to fight MMA?
Does she?
She does so bad.
Okay.
I keep telling her, I'm like, you need to drill at home. You need to drill at home. You need to drill at home. She drills at home. She doesn't have the training partners, right? Kaden and Chloe will probably do this until Caden will probably do it and compete until he's out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe will probably only do it until she's in high school. That's my thought. That's what my guess is. Carly might do this forever, man.
Okay. Well, have her continue drilling.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no easy path. Just drill and get really good.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great example. I mean, I can go off and mention a bunch of others, but that's one of the good examples that everybody knows right now.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu is not easy. I
It's not.
talk to people all the time, and it's when people call me, that's hard to be able to pick up the phone, call the person, and then people always tell me how intimidated they are, and we understand that. Believe me, a lot of us understand that. So whatever school you decide to go to, we understand that. And then walking in the door, oh my goodness, I bet your heart's pounding. It's like, oh my goodness. It's just, and I mean, if you walk into a jiu-jitsu school and it smells like sweat or like socks, you might be in trouble.
Yeah.
You know. But if you walk into a school where it has a feeling and it doesn't smell like socks or sweat or like hay or one of these other things, it means that they really care.
Yeah.
They take care of themselves. They take care of their place. Then they're going to take care of you.
I love our school, man. We when we were looking for schools, Ashley really pushed for Infinite. It was really weird because I didn't really know what school we were going to go with, right? We tried, and I was kind of our guinea pig, right? Because I know martial arts. I've been doing martial arts my whole life, so I was our guinea pig, and I went and did it. And Chad has a good school over at URI's UFC gym in Rockland. He has a good school. Right. He does. Chad Bingham and David just had a fight.
Right.
That's awesome. I love it because I know both guys. You know. He has a good school. There's a couple of schools in like Sacramento Rancho areas, right. And there was just something about Infinite that was more family wholesome. Every other gym that we went to, they were trying to breed. It felt like, I should say, they were trying to breed mixed martial artists. Right. I'm like, I'm not trying to do that, right. Because one, I'm certainly not gonna fight. I'm grown up with a job. And it's not my aspiration to become a fighter, right? It's great for some. I just don't want to get punched in the face. I've been punched in the face plenty of times, and I don't like it. I like submitting people. That's about it. So I have no aspirations to fight. My kids certainly didn't at the time. Carly fought us to go to jiu-jitsu. There's a reason why she earned her first stripe after the other two, because she fought us on going. So we didn't force her to go at first. Right. And then it's funny that her watching a kickboxer is what got her interested in jiu-jitsu. So she watched Holly Holm fight, and she goes, "Whoa, I want to be like her." I'm like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, I want to be like her. That's awesome. Nice. Like, that's cool." And then she saw the Ronda Rousey head kick. That's what we were watching, just random highlights on UFC Fight Pass. And Holly Holm, she sees the head kick, and then she sees Holly Holm take someone down, and then she sees Holly Holm shooting for a submission, and she goes, "Dad, she's doing jiu-jitsu." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Dad, we need to go to jiu-jitsu." Like, no, you think?
Well, there's the saying I say, MMA isn't MMA without BJJ in the J comes first.
Yeah.
So it's easier to teach in my experience because I've had the opportunity to teach some pretty famous people. I'm not the kind of person who name drops.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. And you can or don't, either way.
And you guys know who you are. I mean, I had the opportunity to teach quite a few guys. A very famous person I mentioned earlier, uh, and some of the guys who I'm very proud of what they have achieved so far. Um, but the it's easier to teach a person the grappling and then the stand up than it is the stand up then the grappling.
Yeah, I think I think strikers get like a false sense of security with their strikes, and I feel like some of them just don't take the ground game as seriously.
Sure.
They
And I
just
know I'm going to have opposition to that. They're like, no, what are you talking about? It's like, well, from my personal experience,
Mhm.
if I ever took a boxer or a kickboxer or a Muay Thai guy and tried to teach them that, I've always had the most difficult time teaching them.
Yeah.
And when I took a person who didn't have any of the stand up, the striking, and then um, I have some students who were very good in Taekwondo, very good, and I I had to tailor the learning curve kind of different for them. But one of them on Uso,
Uso,
and you see how he's doing.
that dude's got crazy legs, man.
He does.
He's the most powerful legs I've ever been in a triangle from. I've caught him a couple times. I'm pretty proud of that too, because
Nice.
he's a savage, man. If I catch him ever, I'm like, psh, I feel like I won a tournament because he's a savage. He's so good. He's there all the time too. I love it. He's so committed. He just got into the police academy. I'm like, psh,
Yeah, he got accepted.
I'm so
I got a
excited.
couple of guys who got accepted at the same
I'm
time.
happy for him, man. I'm really happy for him because I know it's like he was passionate about it. So that's cool. He's passionate about jiu-jitsu too.
Right.
So speaking of up and comers and guys that you're teaching, and guys that you're teaching who's ridiculous and someone who's going to be a huge name in jiu-jitsu, I'm telling you, does Austin just have 8 limbs?
Austin was in class last night, and
Oh, I'm glad I wasn't there then. Cause
no.
he's no, I like going with him, but he's so damn good.
Oh yeah, I mean Austin, he's unique. He's got this strength, this flexibility. His legs are like frogs. I'm not sure. He moves. His moves. He's able to move his legs like his arms.
Yeah.
And and he's a big guy, and he's strong, and he's knowledgeable. I'm still working with him, and he understands, and he's not, not big headed. He's not.
Yeah, he's not rushing
not
the process.
egotistical.
Yeah.
And which is great. I don't think I have anybody who's that way. Do you think I have anybody like that? Egotistical?
No.
Or
Everyone at that school, I think you instill such a huge. You're so big on non-ego. I mean, you call out kids for their egos. I'm like, that's awesome because the way you do it like you're talking to an adult, not a child. Like you don't talk down to them. You're like, listen, we demand respect, and we like your egos get checked at the door. I don't see anybody there who's like that. Everyone is like about as helpful and about as humble as I've seen at a martial arts school. So
thank you.
that's why we love going there. That's why we go.
Thank you.
I hate egos because I'm not an egotistical. I used to be, but I'm not anymore.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody talks about leave your ego at the door, right? But it is the ego, but it's a good ego that you need to bring to jiu-jitsu, not this bad ego. So it is a good ego that you need because that's going to give you that drive, that willingness to learn, to understand, but also put up a fight and test yourself out, test out your opponent, but not to the point of actually fighting. I've had people come in from other schools and just garage jiu-jitsu practitioners, YouTube practitioners, and they want to come in and try themselves out, see how good they are, and they get frustrated and they want to fight. And it's like, wait a minute, no, stop.
Yeah,
Stop.
that's not what we do here.
Yeah, it's like your time here is done. Go take a break, whatever. Drink some water. Think about what you're going to do. This is not MMA. We're not into that. We just want to train. We want to get ready for the next jiu-jitsu tournament and just have fun. The jiu-jitsu lifestyle. The jiu-jitsu lifestyle teaches us about how to be clear-minded, understanding, forgiving, and also teaches us to be aware. Teaches us about what we consume. Like we got a bunch of vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. We we'll be talking about soon, and how to be a better person, not just on the mat but off the mat, because we represent all of jiu-jitsu. I represent all of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
When I got my brown belt, I was like, oh my goodness. I'm now a diplomat for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Purple belts, man, I had the most fun as a purple belt. I was throwing caution to the wind. I was trying stupid stuff, but I was getting lucky, and this is when my learning curve really came into effect. And I started finding out who I was, what style that I want to do. I can do berimbolos. I can do all kinds of stuff. But it's not that easy to do in competition.
Yeah.
I mean, especially
you got to be Hoffa or Jonathan or whatever. You got to be those guys.
Yeah,
but that's all they practice. They love that 50-50 stuff.
Right, but even Hoffa's still in his. He's not. I don't think he's 30 yet.
Yeah, I think he's. I think he's 29.
29.
I think he is. And Gui is younger.
I just saw him. At the Pan Ams. Had one of our students down there training in LA. Yes, he goes to college.
Yeah, I know Andy. Andy's another one, man.
Yeah, well, Andy, it took a long time to get Andy going, but once he got going, man, oh my goodness, he's a freight train.
When I tell people about Andy, I'm like, guys, let me tell you the most humbling experience you'll ever have as an adult individual. Walk into this school, and there's this 19-year-old kid who looks maybe 15, and he's pretty unassuming, not muscular, and nicest kid on the planet. He's like laughing, and he's playing with the kids, and then you roll with them, and you see this beast of an individual come out, and he's all of 145 pounds soaking wet, probably.
About that.
Probably 145 soaking wet, maybe 5'7", 5'8".
Right.
And I just watch him put it on everybody in the gym, and he's probably going 60%.
Right.
And I rolled with him. He put me in this clock choke, and I'm like, I can get out of this clock choke. And I start feeling the blackout coming. I'm like, oh man, he got me, and he got me so quick. He gets everybody so quick. So it's like, but it's the most humbling.
Did you get out?
No.
Let me tell you a secret about a clock choke.
Go ahead.
Cap.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, I found the secret out when Andy had it in. He's like he's another one. Him and Andy, those two students of you, like I don't even get it. How good they are, and how humble they are.
Well, we have nicknames for all these guys, okay, but the world doesn't know them under their nickname. Andy, most definitely, he's gotten there. He's training with AOJ now.
Yeah.
Down in LA while he goes to college, and I'm proud of him. We also have Captain Dan. We have, I don't know how many captains. We have like 8, 9 firefighter captains.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's just like
I thought we called him Danger. Or is that a different Dan?
No, that's he's not with us anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Captain Dan. He's like a clone of Keenan Cornelius.
Yeah.
And he's really good with the lapel. Really good with the lapel guard. He gets the lapel, it's just kind of, you're done. He's big, he's flexible, he's strong, he's got his game down. And then there's Austin.
What's your guys' nickname for him?
Austin, well, here's the thing. Austin's just Austin right now.
Yeah.
He's just like a good old country boy.
Yeah, he is a good old country boy.
He's not even a Gumby. He's not a Gumby. He's like
he's like an octopus, man. I feel like he's got 8 tentacles when you're going against him.
Like I said, his feet will come out of nowhere, and he'll literally just insert a foot in this weird position. You got him in Psychotron, and then you're like, wait a minute, I got you in Psychotron. What is your foot doing in front of my face?
That happens to me all the time.
And he ends up getting your back, and he has just an uncanny way of getting your back, and he's very flexible, and he's gifted that way. And
Yeah.
and I'm still working with all these guys, making them better.
Yeah.
And as I get them really honed in into their skill, then I want them to be able to transfer that knowledge to everyone else.
Austin's going to be an amazing instructor because he's already a great instructor. I listen to him teach to people, or even teach me, like as he's choking me, he's like, hey, so this is how you get out of this choke. But Austin is like, he's a special dude, man. I feel like Austin, big time, and Andy. I can't wait for Andy to come back. I was talking to, is his name Eli?
Eli.
I feel bad that I couldn't remember his name.
No,
So
you did.
Eli and Andy were close, right?
Right.
They still are, I think.
Right.
And when Andy hurt himself, I think when he broke his foot or whatever,
Right.
skateboarding, I was
That was freaky.
I can't
We
believe
just
that.
talked about that the day before.
That's
How
crazy.
dangerous skateboarding is compared to jiu-jitsu. And then
Yeah.
Andy goes off and breaks his foot.
Breaks his foot.
Not just a regular break. It was a bad break.
Yeah.
It was a freaky break.
That's what Eli was saying. And I was talking to Eli and I said, you know what? I really hope. And here's the thing. Andy is gonna be a black belt. He's gonna be a black belt sooner rather than later. Whatever, if it's two years out or whatever. And I said, man, I just hope he comes back to Infinite to get it from Gus. Cause man, if you get a black belt from Hoffa, but I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, man. You at brown belt, you know what kind of jiu-jitsu player you are.
Actually, let me state this for everyone.
I know you don't care. I care.
I mean, I like I said earlier, I don't have that ego where it is important for me to give you the brown belt, the purple belt, the black belt, whatever. I know where you're at, and I was part of your journey. I do know that it would be a great honor for Andy to be able to get that black belt from Hoffa.
Yeah.
And that's one of the achievements that he wants to do, and I understand that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
If he wants to come back, that would be like super, super awesome.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's learning from Hoffa and the amazing group that he has over there at AOJ.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I heard he went down there and he did pretty well too. I heard he's I mean, this is, I didn't hear it from the horse's mouth, but that's because he would never say it. But I heard through the grapevine that he's killing down there.
I don't know. I'm not there.
I know he's learning too, obviously.
Right, of course.
How do you not learn from that group? It's funny because I remember, because I subscribe to AOJ, right? So I know what Hoffa's teaching weekly, and it's the funniest thing is when Andy would teach the adult classes, he would come in and he would start teaching, and I go, hey, I just watched this video. I just watched this video too, man. He goes, yeah, because I knew where he was getting it from. But I get it. They're huge influences to him because because he's smaller, he does have that knack for berimbolo stuff. He's good at all of it. 50-50 guard stuff. He's great at all of it.
Right.
And I think to that, and that's the same way with Austin. Austin's great at everything. It's funny, you were doing that like modified baseball choke or ninja choke or samurai choke. And I remember you were like, and it just goes like this, and you do it, and it was almost lights out for who you were doing the instruction with. And then I remember us all doing it, and I'm like, man, he was just like, and then you just, it was the way you instructed it was like, it was so, as a matter of fact, like it was super easy. And I'm struggling, and I'm pretty good with picking up new moves. And I'm like, dude, I just can't get this. And you're just you are like that instructor who's just, you could literally throw anything out there and you can make it work. You can submit another black belt with some, like I said, I make the joke, the flying platypus choke. That's always my joke when I'm talking about you. I'm like, yeah, I'm rolling with Gus, and Gus catches me in something. I'm like, what was that? He's like, that was a flying platypus. That's my joke. I remember rolling with you, and and I pull your lapel out. We had just learned gubber guard, so I pulled your lapel out of your belt, and I'm trying to pull it over, and you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna copy you. I remember you saying that to me. I'm just gonna copy what you're doing, and so I do it. I go over. You do it. You go over, and I pull my foot over to gubber. And you're like, are you trying to gubber guard me? I'm like, I mean, I guess I don't know what to do, and you're like, and you just stall me out. You're stalling me out the entire time. You're not trying to submit me, and I'm like, man, there's nothing more humbling than going. He was probably going 10% on me, and I couldn't even advance. I don't think I could advance. I couldn't get out of it.
Well, sometimes what I do is I just let you play your game. Not just you, but people.
You want to see what we have
and see how you do, what I need to help you with. But when we get closer to the tournament, you'll see me kind of become a little bit selfish.
Yeah.
And so I have to watch what I do, who I roll with, make sure that I don't get injured, because some people want to, if I step it up, they're going to step it up. And then there's a more likelihood that you will end up getting injured during your training than you will in actual competition.
Yeah. Especially when you're rolling with someone you don't know and you don't know what that person's doing. And even someone who's got a skill level way under yours, sometimes that's going to be more dangerous, right? Because, and I knew this from judo, when I was getting ready for the San Fujiyama, I remember, I wouldn't, and it wasn't any disrespect to lower belts, but I was like, if you're not a brown belt, I cannot train with you. Not because I don't respect you, but because your techniques aren't good, you may accidentally do a technique wrong and injure me. Because I've seen it happen. I've seen someone go for a throw, and at that level, somebody tries to do a drop knee seoi, and I know that you know some judo as well, because your wife is
judo.
Yeah, and your wife's a judoka as well, right?
Judoka, yeah.
Yeah. So, someone will go for a drop. I've seen it. I've seen someone drop knee seoi someone. It's like, you don't practice. You don't do drop knees in a rondori. Like, you don't do that in a sparring session, because they're dangerous. You do that in a tournament because it's effective, and you practice it. But you don't do it in like a random rondori. Like, you're not doing a random sparring and you're going to drop knee seoi someone. I've seen someone do that and their shoulder goes straight into the mat, pop out, and they're done, and then they can't go to. And so I was like, I need to know that you've performed enough katas so that I know that you aren't going to injure me in training. And it was a little selfish, but it was because, hey, if I go to Pan Am's, or if I go to like the San Fujiyama, for instance, or go to Mundials or whatever, I need to know that I'm going to be, that I peak at that time. And if I'm nursing an injury, it's not gonna work.
Right.
And with judo, I was a pretty. I would consider myself a better than average to good. I went to a couple of world championships, and I'd consider myself a better than average to good judoka. I consider myself a very below average jiu-jitsu practitioner, which is funny because most of the guys that I roll with all think that I'm this. They're like, oh man, Ikai is fantastic at jiu-jitsu. I'm like, well, that's because you guys don't know what you're doing. But I literally roll with guys who are probably going to be world champions. Like, you don't get it. Like, when IBJJF, the worlds come up to Northern California next, and Austin's competing in the brown belt division, like, sorry, Jonathan, like, I think they're the same weight, right around the same weight class. I'm like, I think Austin's got you, brother. I've seen this guy in person. This guy is like top notch jiu-jitsu player. And I may not be on that level, but I've certainly rolled with guys at that level, and I've certainly seen it in person, live in front of my face. I know what it looks like, and Austin's world class.
The one thing I'm really, really super proud of about my school is that we have cultivated everybody. I say most of my brown belts and black belts have a unique style, individual style.
Yeah.
I don't want to create clones.
No.
I want everybody to be good at what they want to be at, and that will make everybody else better at everything, but yet have your specialty. And I have people from all walks of life, all different types, from wrestling to MMA, to judo, karate, taekwondo, all these types, and people who had never even done anything in their life, uh, and they're all developing their own flavor. And that to me is amazing because when I need somebody to teach something specific, I can say, okay, I can call upon this person because they know this craft really really well.
Yeah.
They're not quite master of it, but man, they're pretty close. And they're that I never want to be known as a master of anything because I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly becoming better. Jiu-jitsu changes, and you have to be able to adapt.
Almost daily.
Dude, it's crazy, but with my ADHD, I love it. I love it.
It's one of the only sports that's really like that, right? Like most wrestling, there's some evolution to it, but most wrestling is pretty straightforward. Judo, very straightforward. Like you use Gregoto Kano's techniques to a T, and you'll be successful. Um, but jiu-jitsu is ever evolving. I don't know any other sport like it. Karate is it's not linear. I don't want to say it like that because I don't want to disrespect the sport. There's obviously it's still a fantastic martial art, and it's important to have, but it's not where jiu-jitsu is so. It's the guys who are good at certain things. It doesn't matter. You never know.
Well, I think I understand what you're saying. It's like with the stand-up arts, whether it be karate, Muay Thai, kickboxing, or boxing. You have speed, timing, power. What am I missing? Is there something else?
There's some technique to it.
Technique.
I mean, I would
Of
say
course,
there's
technique.
technique,
Of
but that's
course.
with
Of
all of
course.
them.
Yeah. That should go without saying. Technique, and you can mix them up, and you can do your feinting or whatever. Uh, in judo, there's that as well. There's in karate for sure. In jiu-jitsu, we have all that, but man, it's just one move that you do. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's not what you think. The one person you're leading yourself into a technique, and the person makes a move, and next thing you know is like, wait a minute, I thought it was this, and then you end up getting me with that, and it changes, it morphs as it goes. That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. Nothing is what it seems to be. You just have to be prepared for everything, be able to adapt at an instant.
Yeah. Well, and nothing's more evident than that. And I know I'm going back to that same fight, but there's nothing more evident than that when you watch the BJ Penn Ryan Hall fight, because when Ryan Hall spins underneath and he does that and he grabs that heel, he BJ Penn is a high level jiu-jitsu practitioner. Everyone kind of knows that. And when he first gets caught, he's thinking it's a knee bar, which is why he spins the wrong direction. Nothing's like it is what it seems. Ryan Hall had him fooled on what leg lock he was going to do, and then once that happens, and that you can see, he goes to pull that foot out of his armpit, and then you just watch him clamp down on the back of that heel, and then you're like, oh, it's done. If he doesn't tap, he's ripping his knee apart. His legs.
And for BJ, to be able to do that with BJ, that's kind of like incredible because BJ is like Austin.
Yeah.
He's crazy flexible.
Gumby legs.
Yeah. So I mean, Ryan had to get that just perfect.
Yeah.
And
there was some chess match there too.
Of course. But in jiu-jitsu, you have to, like I said earlier, we change our lifestyle. We live a jiu-jitsu lifestyle. We try to be a better person, not let the therapy sessions alone are priceless. You go in there with any issues, excuse me, and you walk out refreshed, clean, cleansed, and then we all watch out for each other. It's like, okay, what do you consume? What are you drinking sodas? What are you doing? What kind of diet do you have? You want to be a better person on the mat, so you have to be a better person off the mat. So next time you come on the mat, you're better prepared.
Yeah. How do you stay in shape? Because you are like you move on the mat like you're you're 30, man.
No, thank you, but I'm starting to feel my age. It's starting to creep up on me. But I I have uh, some supplements that I take, and I use this supplement from Mary Ruth's company. My wife, she's very adamant about doing the research, and she has found this one, and she's like really, really good on this. And I've been taking it, and I'm starting to feel the difference. Um,
What is it?
it's this is called Liquid Morning multivitamin
Yeah,
by,
Mary Ruth's.
by Mary,
Sorry,
Mary
on it.
Ruth.
Sorry,
Take
Joe.
it.
Sorry, Joe. No, we don't use the on it stuff in here. Yeah.
And then we also take a Mary Ruth's probiotic.
Are you a vegan, or is that just it just so happens to be
It's just how it's good for everybody. I mean, it's basically it makes me sleep better. I'll wake up refreshed earlier. I mean, like today, I woke up at 7 a.m. and before 7, and I'm just like, I usually wake up like around 8:30, 9, but I'm waking up earlier and feel more refreshed. It doesn't have any GMOs, no dyes, uh, no added sugars. It's good for everything. It's all organic, and it's made in small batches, and it's made here locally in California.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, and we get it from Amazon.
Yeah, I think that's probably my next
That's good.
thing is looking into new like aminos and everything like that, cuz that's the one part of my game where I'm
And see this bag right here? I've had this in my car. And this is stuff that I went out and got from Costco. This is almost full. This multivitamin here, and I got this one here, the Super B complex. I got the fish oils, 1,000 milligrams, and I got this Super B complex, different organic stuff. And I got this B12. I got all this stuff. All this stuff gone because of that.
because of the Mary Ruth's
Yeah. This stuff here cost me more than that.
than the one bottle.
Yeah. And actually, if you really look at it and you do your research, this stuff here is not even close to that. So that is way superior. Superior, not better, but superior.
Yeah. What do you think about like all these supplement companies? Like everyone's starting to get into the supplement game, right?
I understand. Jiu-Jitsu's growing. People want to be the best they can possibly be and fight off any craziness that they can have. Like nobody wants to get cancer. I mean, so you want to take a better care of your body. Also, my wife, check this out. I kid you not. I took this from the garbage can. I wasn't going to bring this in or talk to you guys about this, but this is something that I think everybody needs to talk about. We started checking into the kind of water we drink. Okay, and I'm like a tap water kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, "No, don't drink that stuff. Because that tap water."
That's not water. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You're gonna scare me now. Huh?
No.
I'm gonna drink this. Hold on, I'm gonna finish this off before I read before you read that off.
Okay. So if you we have this Berkey that we purchased. This thing is like $300. Out of it, the reading that we got from particles per million is 88. Now, from what I understand, I'm not sure, but if you get anything within 50 or below, then it's okay. The lower, the better for your body. And then we have this bottled water from Kirkland. It's 15 parts per million. Okay, so that's definitely better than the Berkey. This is crazy. The Berkey is supposed to be this.
That's one of the
thing.
Yeah, that's the water purifiers.
Right. And it's like, wait a minute, we don't know what the heck's going on here. So we're going to check into that. We took a water sample from outside, like from the hose or whatever. It's 33. Right?
It's
So
better than the water.
the water purifier, yes. And then we got the water sample from tap. It's 39.
Okay, so it's not too bad.
Right, it's not too bad. And then that's in Roseville. And then we got let me see, which is this
Oh, Lincoln's gonna be terrible then.
distilled water. 0. And it's like, wait a minute, maybe this device that we got is not working right. So we ended up getting doing it all over again, and we got this device. I'm not sure what it's called. It's new. We're testing out. We're going to the next phase in our life where we want to make sure that we get good water, because we don't want to have anything that in our body that's going to lend to having problems down the road. And so we started going through the process, and you can see where she started writing all this stuff down and dating and everything else. Sandra, my wife, she's amazing. She does all this. She really wants the best for us. And she's crossing these out, going back, and getting all these figures. And this is what it is. And she's like, distilled water, 0 parts per million. That basically means that it's going to be the purest water for you. And then some of these guys, what they do is that I'm going to do some research on this myself, where this one guy gets tap water and he puts it in there and says, okay, this is a light and it conducts electricity. Quick, I'm in electronics, and so I understand electricity. Water conducts electricity, but for whatever reason, the distilled water will not let this current close the current, so the circuit, so the current will flow through. So there's nothing really in there that I'm aware of that will allow electricity. So I'm going to do some more research on that. But for the most part is that the research that I've done, is distilled water actually is pretty good. But you also have to put in some minerals in it. That's what this stuff is for.
Yeah, that's why you.
So your body needs it. But I don't want to go into too much because I'm not a scientist or any of that. But I'm going to start drinking distilled water.
You can say whatever you want. I'm pretty dumb, so I wouldn't know the difference.
Well,
you know what though?
I don't want to lead anybody in the wrong direction because
Yeah.
not everything is good for everybody. But that's like jiu-jitsu is where some people, we could talk about diet. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. And some people go vegan. Some people go what's that? Where people eat fish? Piscatologist.
Yeah, pescatarian.
Pescatarian.
Yeah.
And then we also. And then,
You went vegetarian for a minute, right, Travis?
No.
No?
Then you got vegetarian.
Yeah, I don't get.
Then you have the carnivore diet. You got ketos, ketosis, and all kinds of craziness.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just portion control. Like last night, I had a plate of spaghetti. A plate. Imagine a crazy plate of spaghetti, and I had my salad on top of that, and I put my dressing on it, and I just chowing down. This thing was crazy, because I was just hungry and I needed it, but it's just portion control and stay away from sugar, guys, girls, stay away from sugar. Sugar is the one thing you need to watch out for if you really want to do something for your body. Stay away from sugar. We were just talking to Rod about. We call him Microwave, or what's his other name? Roddernator. He loves leg locks.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, the sugar, man, I can't get away from it. Oh, it's so bad.
Moderation.
Well, it doesn't help that I love carbs. So it's like the carbs are converting into sugar in my body, and I'm taking in sugar. It's a hot mess of sugar in me.
Right, it just goes straight into fats.
But the funny thing is I've gotten used to rolling in 5-minute increments now. So I'm like, in my head, I think I'm trying to make it okay, and it's definitely not. I'm like, no, it's fine. I can roll roll the whole round. I'll be okay, right?
No. Like yesterday, I had a big lunch as well. And I had to teach the class, and it's like, oh my goodness! I'm trying to teach the teen class. I'm teaching them how to do a new style of berimbolo, and it's like, I'm gonna try this too. It's not gonna work so well, but work with me. And it's like when I went upside down to do the berimbolo, it's just like, oh my goodness, I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it. But when I go compete, I purposely seri- seriously restrict my intake, my diet. I mean, my food,
Yeah.
and it
Do you
makes
do camps for your fights?
camps.
Yeah. Do you do like 6 weeks? I'm gonna, 6 weeks before I'm gonna get training partners and
I have them all around me. My training partners are right there. Like I said, I have to be careful, make sure that someone doesn't push me too hard where I end up getting injured.
yeah,
And so uh, I can get a good sweat with the group I got, and I can work on certain things, um, whether it be the top game, the bottom game. I'm good, but I try to stay healthy, and my diet is really important. Now that I got these what is it, Mary
Mary Roots. Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt I've been feeling a little different, and in a positive way, I'm going to contact them and see if there's something else that I can go ahead and take that's going to. I feel like there's a little something that I need,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure exactly what it is, and I'm gonna use my body as a guinea pig and see how that works out. But so far, Mary Ruth's products have been outstanding.
Cool.
I mean, I don't do too much, and I do appreciate anything that they do for us. Uh, but I don't talk about like this. I mean, I basically live at Costco. Everybody makes fun of me because I have kids and I'm growing up, and I just got. I look at the clock. It's hey, you guys, I got to go do a Costco run because we go through a lot of food with the house, and Costco has a great selection of organics, and so we go in there and buy a lot of organics. It's not cheap. It's not cheap, but you know what? We want the best for ourselves.
Yeah, it's funny. The kids bumped into you at Costco recently,
Right? Yeah.
and when they got home, they just wouldn't stop talking about bumping into you.
Right.
I'm like,
If
he's a regular person,
if
you
you don't
know.
know, I'm not jujitsu. I'm at Costco. Getting
No,
samples.
and they still call you sensei. I'm like, well,
That's
it's
fine.
jujitsu professor. No,
That's right.
they just say sensei because they've heard me say sensei for so long. Because in judo, it's sensei, right?
Right.
So they still say that. I'm like, he's not gonna be mad at it, but I'm telling you guys, call him professor, Professor Gus.
Right.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. Professor.
Yeah, I'm like that's in Portuguese.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Professor Gustavo.
You speak Portuguese?
A little bit. I'm learning.
Yeah. Have you been to Brazil?
No, I've been invited quite a few times.
I bet you. Is it school?
No, it's not.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I keep looking at the time because I really want to respect your time for I know you have your 11 o'clock class today.
Right.
It was funny. I was talking to Ashley. We're like, yeah, so he has the 11 o'clock class, and he asked me, he goes, okay, and then you're going to be at 11 o'clock. I'm like, well, I'm with the instructor. I guess I got to go. I got to go. You have an adult 11 o'clock class today, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. You don't have to come in. I mean, you got other things you got to do. I understand.
It's hard. Jiu-jitsu is my favorite thing to do, though, man. It's just hard to get in there and work and three
Right.
kids, the whole nine.
I like my karate. I like my karate a lot, and I was very fortunate to find some good instructors. But I fell in love with my jiu-jitsu, and this jiu-jitsu is one thing that I want to continuously share with people for as long as I can possibly do it.
Yeah.
And I understand Helios and all the other great ones before me, and it starts with the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a difficult time growing up, and I have ADHD and this dyslexia, and it's helped me out, and it's also a gift. I feel it's a gift. I have people with on the spectrum of autism and stuff like that, and I try to work with them, and not everybody gets accepted into the program.
Yeah.
Because we have to be conscious of safety, and we want to make sure that if a child or even an adult is very disruptive or something like that, we just can't have that. So safety's first, and we try to accommodate. Like for you, for example, I have to find out how you're going to learn the technique. And that's one thing that I came across as being an instructor. Uh, People learn by audio, by listening. Some people learn by watching. Some people need to be put in position, put their hands in position. The way I do it is I end up touching the person, poking the person. This is what you need. Because a lot of people don't understand. Maybe they do understand, but in the moment, they don't realize what their right and their left is.
Yeah.
You know, I come across that quite often. And so I actually physically touch it, poke it, take your right hand and put it right here, and then move your leg here, scoot your hips this way, get this grip, you should feel this, listen for this, all these little things that may help the person. Some people, you can just tell them what to do, and they just, boom, they just do it. It's just, there's so many different ways to learn, so many different people have come with different methods. Anyway, so I'm rambling now.
No, that's the point. No, I think I'm a learn by seeing kind of guy. That's why I record. I have to record them, and then I watch it back because I need to visually see where each part is. Because I think my mind is weird in the sense that, like, if I watch enough times your leg kick out here and this happened, and if I watch it enough times, I can perform it just as good as if I were to go down with a training partner and do it 5 or 6 times. Now I have to do it as well after. But
sorry, I'm smiling big and everything else. Like when John Donahue came up with his videos, everybody's like, "Damn, I'm falling asleep. When is he going to show technique? I can't stay awake. I can't stay awake.
Yeah.
If I need to. I mean, John puts out some good stuff, and
he has a monotone voice though.
I actually did a seminar with him.
He does that voice. He's like a genius, but I do see what people are saying. I can listen to it. Other people, I know why. I can see why other people can't. He's so soft spoken, and he wants to, and the way he describes everything is very like that's how he talks, you know.
Well, I had the opportunity to do a seminar with him, and it was nice, and he knew that he said, "Hey, you guys, I'm not going to talk that much. I'm just going to try to do as much as possible, show you guys as many techniques as possible. You guys go ahead, because people have been talking to him." And the second video he came up with, or the third video, he says, "Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make it sooner, so I can get to the point." Instagram is awesome because people put stuff on there all the time, and then they just loop. You're just looking. The only problem with Instagram is sometimes you don't see certain position, certain little detail that's very important. People are like, "Hey man, I try to do this." Just like recently, I have this technique when the person's passing the guard. It's just like, what the heck just happened? I just got submitted. You were in the bottom, I'm in the top, and I'm passing your guard, and now you're on top, and I'm submitted. What is this technique? That's the kind of technique that you have to do. You can't do it slow. If you try to do it slow, it just doesn't work. You have to do it at a certain pace, and you have to have a certain level of resistance. So you have to have a certain level of movement to make it work.
Yeah, you're good at teaching that. Like, hey, when you do this, the fight is going to be here. This is where the fight's going to be. You're going to do this, and his Zeke and he's going to Zeke or whatever the case is, whatever the fight at that point is going to be. You're really good at explaining that. And I think that you're right. Because the Instagram videos are only so long,
right.
they won't capture that. You don't have a big online presence for that, huh?
I'm not a big online kind of person.
Why don't you have like Austin and David take care of it?
Well, I'm busy, with the family and talking about my personal family and my jiu-jitsu family. Like with you guys and helping you guys. And if somebody wants to do that, great. I did that, and it's just like, okay, I know that there's certain people that I know. I won't be mentioning names. I watch them like a hawk because I learn so much from these people, and they are so much think like me, and I know that they're watching me as well because I see them when I compete. They're watching me. They're not watching their students. They're watching me. And it's like, oh, okay. and I try to talk to them, and then they gave me a little bit, and I give them a little bit because I, mutual respect. But I kind of stopped putting stuff on Instagram. They don't have the ego that look at me, look what I got.
Yeah, look what our school's putting out.
I want to keep it for my students and have them do it. And jiu-jitsu, it's not Gustavo Enriquez jiu-jitsu. It's infinite jiu-jitsu. And
it is interesting that you chose an actual jiu-jitsu school name and didn't name it after yourself.
Right.
I think it is a testament to the fact that you're not just saying like I don't have the ego. You live it through your school.
I mean, if people want to open up their own school and they want to call it whatever name they have, then that's fine. If they want to take the name Infinite Jiu-Jitsu and grow from there, that's fine too. But the lineage, you cannot stop the lineage.
Yeah.
No matter where, like the guys who are famous nowadays, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I learned from this person, and this person," and they're always going to be there.
It's funny because with jiu-jitsu, it's not like other martial arts where jiu-jitsu, like the lineage is really important. Because when I talk to people, I'm like, "Oh yeah, Enrique, Gustavo Enriquez is my professor, his professor," and I go into the lineage. I tell them, they didn't even ask. I'm like, he got his black belt from Cassio Werneck. He's a third degree. He got his from Cassio Werneck. Cassio Werneck got it, and I go through the lineage, and everyone's like, "Oh, like that's a thing?" I'm like, yeah, it's like an important part of jiu-jitsu is the lineage. How do you trace it back to Maeda and Helio and Carlos and it's crazy for people who don't know the history behind. I'll just do like the shortest version of it. Maeda flew in. So Gregorio Cano.
Yeah, planes back then. They had planes back then.
Well, you and I met. Yeah. So Gregorio Cano. It took these black belts, and there was I'm gonna butcher this part. I don't remember the exact amount of them, but he wanted judo to be taught everywhere. The issue was that you weren't allowed to make money for fighting if you had a judo black belt. You were not allowed to do it. And Maeda was basically a cage fighter. He was fighting in circuses though, and he was doing it all over Brazil, and it was. Carlos Gracie was working at the circus that he was fighting at. Off the top of my head, man, I didn't like brush up on I can't remember the circus name, but in any case, it was a really famous circus out in Brazil, and he was fighting there, and Carlos was like, "Teach me your ways," and they the only way for him to do it and get paid for it was they had to change the name of what the sport was because he couldn't do it as a judo black belt. He wasn't allowed to. So that's how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu got started. And so everyone wants to trace their lineage all the way back to Carlos or Helio. That's like, it's a thing. I love it because right. I do it.
Right. It actually goes further than that because sure we can pay homage to the Brazilians who made it possible. Then we go to the Japanese who brought it to Brazil, and then where did they get it? And
yeah, they were for the noblemen's, right? Well, jiu-jitsu was like frowned upon because it was like they were calling it's like the poor man's judo in Japan.
Well, which came first, judo or jiu-jitsu?
From my understanding, it was judo. I feel like I'm about to get schooled, though.
No, I really, I mean, that's an argument. From what I understand, and I could be wrong.
From what I've been taught, it was a way of, it was judo was taught to the samurai, and when the samurai went away, it's jiu-jitsu was like burglars were learning jiu-jitsu, or not burglars, but like criminals were learning jiu-jitsu to fight people off, and so jiu-jitsu was like not frowned upon, but it was like looked at as like a poor man's way of self-defense. We got our audio engineer. He's looking it up. I would say judo.
Well, from what I understand, it was judo. Mm-hmm. The jiu-jitsu was developed for the samurai when he lost his sword, and then they made a sport out of jiu-jitsu called judo because jiu-jitsu was just too crazy just to do regularly.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I should know that because I'm like way into the history of jiu-jitsu. I feel like I should have known that more.
Well, it'd be good for everybody to understand where the roots come from. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
No, judo. It says judo. It was originally called Kano Jiu-Jitsu. So he called it Kano Jiu-Jitsu and then renamed it judo is what it looks like. Yeah, here, hit that. Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu is
Is it J-U?
Ju, yeah.
Yeah, that's the old school. I studied that.
Yeah.
And that was like
it was like all Niwaza stuff.
Oh my goodness, man. It was just like, no, this is not for real. You have to have a samurai to study the old school jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, right? You had to be you had to be a samurai or something. Or
yeah, it's how to draw your sword and how to stop a person without the sword.
Yeah. I'm gonna have Travis spout off some history origin stuff.
Sure.
Let's see. It looks like it was first during the Seigoku period. Japanese martial arts, centered on striking techniques, and then it looks like it came from judo. Looks like they came around very similar times. It was just a different style of judo.
Yeah, I think
so. Judo was first.
Yeah.
Judo no.
Judo no. I was kind of I've done like so much. I mean, I have I have a couple of books on Grigoto Kano because he was in judo schools. Like when you bow in for class, because you bow in, bow out. So there's a lot of bowing in judo, and you had to also bow to the Grigoto Kano picture.
Mm-hmm.
We had a painting. It wasn't like a snapshot. We had a painting up, and we would bow into our instructor, and then we would bow where we bow in. We always started and finished with a Grigoto Kano bow. So we bow to Grigoto Kano, then we would bow to the instructors, and then we would have class. And then when we bowed out, we would bow out to the instructors, and then bow out to.
That's how I was in karate.
Okay, it looks like actually judo came from jiu-jitsu.
Judo came from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu first.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It says modern judo is a classic example of a sport that was derived from jiu-jitsu, and then became its own thing.
So Kano, it does it say in there that Kano he created judo because of jiu-jitsu? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Make it into a sport.
There you go.
Yeah, I made it into a sport. Yeah.
And then the rest is history, because.
Yep. It looked like jiu-jitsu split into two things, which became modern karate and modern judo. Just two different types of.
Yeah,
fighting.
I did read that like in the history that judo used to have striking, and it sounds like it was when it was jujutsu.
Well, judo chop.
Yeah. Well, when people say that, and my favorite thing is when I tell people that we're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a judokan and I'm a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and they start making karate gestures. I'm like, not exactly.
Let them. It's just like the people that said, hey, you tell people, hey, I'm doing jiu-jitsu, and then one person thinks that you're doing something.
Yeah, no. I really do. People think that when I say that I do jiu-jitsu, they think that I'm a cage fighter. I'm like, no. That's not what I do. No way. They think that you're like this bloodthirsty savage who puts on MMA gloves. And
just let them.
I'm like, that's not what I do.
Maybe they stay away from you, just in a good way.
Yeah.
Don't mess with you.
Most people, and here's the thing is, I'm still a good judoka, and I do know jiu-jitsu, so I can handle myself. So I do have a different confidence where I never, ever, 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 like if somebody is bad-mouthing me, I'm just like, okay, yeah, you're right. I just walk away.
First thing you look at them is like, look at the ears.
I always look at the ears.
I knew you.
I always look at the ears.
Then you look at what they're wearing. It's like, is there any jiu-jitsu t-shirt or anything like that that he's wearing?
Well, what's funny is
there's gonna be trouble.
Yeah, I always look. There's two things. I look for the ears. Hands, I don't really care. Big hands, whatever, because jiu-jitsu is, But I also look at what material. Yeah, same thing.
Looks like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I'm developing the same things.
Yeah.
So I look for jiu-jitsu knuckles.
Serious.
I got baby hands.
He got baby hands. He's got guitarist hands. Is what it is. I always look at for the jiu-jitsu nubs. I look for the cauliflower ear, and then if they don't have either, then I look at what I can choke them with. So if they're wearing a jacket, I had a guy at work, he was messing with me, and he kept coming behind me. Like they always want to people who don't practice always want to test those who do. Like they want to play with you and mess around. And I was just messing with him, right? He comes up and he keeps trying to grab me. He's a former wrestler and he keeps trying to grab me. He's wearing a jacket. His jacket's got a strong lapel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, buddy, you're about to get choked. I'm like, you need to stop. And he keeps going. And I just shift my hand in. He shoots in. I shift my hand in, grab the bottom, and I just pull. It's like the most simple, what you teach 12-year-olds how to do, kind of a choke. And oh, look who's back.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're gonna talk through it this time because whatever. But I choked him out. He kind of started going limp because he wouldn't tap, and people were recording the little it wasn't a scuffle. I would call it like a.
You know, why do people do that? I was at the Galleria, and there's these two guys started arguing, and then I was in the second tier, and the guys were arguing down at the bottom, and I was like, "What's going on?" Because I had no family, I wanted to be aware of what's going on.
You need to make sure you know.
And so, and then everybody started whipping out their cell phones and recording it. And one lady is like, "Look up here, so I can take your picture, so that people know who you are." It's like, it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, go in there and say, "Hey, guys, we're public.
Yeah, stop.
Knock it off.
Yeah, stop them.
We're security.
Yeah. Yeah, this was just two hooligans messing around at work. I probably shouldn't even say it like that either because there's getting in trouble. I'm a manager there. He was messing around. I just grabbed him, just put him.
It was during the lunch break, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely lunch break.
Off premises.
Yeah, it was off business. Off premises.
That's right.
Just so happened to be on a day that we were working.
Right.
No, we had what's funny is the owner of Maida Toyota, one of the owners, I should say. She listens. She was cracked. She cracks up because she's like, "Hey, when's your next episode coming on?" I'm like, "Well, if you guys make fun of me for talking about jiu-jitsu before, just wait until my next guest because that's all I'm going to talk about." I actually halfway wanted to bring you in. Half of the reason was so that I can get my jiu-jitsu fix in because tomorrow I have Oleg Moskov coming on, who's a former WBC world champion boxer. So I have him coming on tomorrow, and I'm like, then I'm going to be talking all boxing.
Sure.
I'm a huge boxing fan too. So.
Sure.
But jiu-jitsu just happens to be the one I practice, so I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
But no, we've been doing an hour 35. Are you still good on time? Because it's 20:25.
Well, I'm gonna have to be going pretty quick because I have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But I'd like to take the time to thank you guys. Thank everybody out there in the jiu-jitsu community.
Yeah.
You guys, everybody there is awesome. I mean, I'm proud to be part of the family, and I'd like to thank my sponsors, Mary Ruth, vitamins, minerals, and all their supplements. Get an opportunity to check them out. They're on Amazon. And
the school too, Infinite Jiu-Jitsu.
Infinite Jiu-Jitsu. If you get a chance, come on, check it out. Don't be afraid.
Fighters Line too. Plug Fighters Line. Plug it all. Plug all of it.
Well, Fighters Line is kind of like in a cocoon phase, and I'm very excited for the outcome. You got to see some of the
I'm very
product.
excited. I know. I'm keeping it to myself. I tried very hard not to say anything.
Right, and that was kind of like substandard to my needs.
How soon do you think we'll get any? How soon do you think we might hear some more info on Fighters Line?
It's hard to say. I've been working on it for like 2 years.
You let me know because I'm gonna plug it every single one of them. I hope that through this podcast, Fighters Line is the number one jiu-jitsu and MMA, like MMA warehouse, except better.
Well, I want to keep it simple. I don't want to grow it too big too fast because I want to make sure the quality is going to be there. Everybody talks about that, surely, but I'm looking for a certain product, certain way done, and like I said, it's been over 2 years, and I need to make sure it is going to pass my test, and then who knows? Maybe by the time. Maybe in about a month or two, or I'm totally prepared to wait until after August. after the Master Worlds, so I can actually go out there and
Abs-
debut the
yeah.
very first one.
That's
And
awesome.
I'll have some promotions to go along with it. It's gonna be the same as everyone else, but it's gonna be uniquely different. You're gonna look at this, and it's gonna be limited. Each product that I put out is gonna be limited, and if you get it, you got it. If you don't get it, I'm sorry. It's I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll do a Facebook presence or Instagram presence, or just come on here and talk about it, and then give people an opportunity to snag it while it's still hot. Um, the supplies are going to be limited. The sizing is going to be limited. The color is going to be limited. And if you get one, awesome. If you don't, maybe wait for the next one.
There's a website.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I do have Fighter's Line, but I took it down just to make sure everything is done right with the pictures and everything else.
Let me know when it's back on, because everybody just now heard me say that. So when
Sure.
I'll plug it again when it's back up.
Well, I'm going to have two websites. One is going to be, I don't want to go any further.
Yeah,
Don't wanna
I'm
go
good
any
with
further.
that. I'm in.
You already mentioned Fighter's Line.
Yeah.
So,
I told you I was trying really hard not to say anything.
right.
That's it. That's
Right.
all I'm gonna say.
Well, you can talk about the product that you did see.
Yeah,
I mean, the color,
I love it.
the materials, the style, the fit, all of that goes into it. I mean,
Just so you guys know, because one of the biggest things is he cares so much about the quality of it that I watched another big name brand. If you thought of the biggest gi brand name that you can, that's probably the one. I'm not going to say it, and he said no to it. So I'm just telling you, the quality of these gis are insane, and I've seen what they look like, and the kids gis, because I'm excited for it to come out. And when it does come out, I'm gonna I go to a school, so I'm gonna have it in house, but everybody else is gonna have to get it online. So yeah, so Fighter's Line, when that's back up, we'll replug it. Infinite Jiu-Jitsu, that's in Rockland, California, and then like he was saying, Mary Roots on Amazon. Grab that, check it out.
yeah. Thank
All
you so
right.
much, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Keep up the good work, and once again, thank you, Mary Ruth, for helping me with my journey in jiu-jitsu, and I'll keep you guys up to date on all the new stuff that we get from Mary Ruth. Like I said, I got how many? Well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big bottles here that I got all these vitamins and stuff, all these supplements, and you are what you eat, I guess. And I love food. Let me tell you, man. I went to Olive Garden the other day, and I saw I don't know how many jiu-jitsu people from my school, and they're eating, and we're carving out,
Yeah,
but it was so good.
I know. I'm a foodie too, so it's hard for me.
You know,
I can't stop it.
get together and have barbecues. Oh, I guess the best barbecue.
Yeah, well, it's summer months, man. Let's do
right.
it. I'm in.
That's right.
I'm ready for it. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.